talking online though. Hey, true believers, and also what is that? I started the comic or hey Musketeers or whatever we say. Anyway, this is Englantine here, and here with Dalton.
Hello all.
I was about to say, I know you're under the weather, but usually you, hey, hello all, a little bit,
No, sorry,
but
I am not feeling the best today, guys. So if I'm less engaging than usual, that's probably why.
I'll know where. A lot of fun this week. We talked a little bit on. I feel weird because we did the I Love Comics live stream last night, where I ended up talking a lot about the EPCOT and going to the food festival, because I went to the food festival.
I knew as soon as you decided to do it on I Love Comics that was going to happen, because I could tell from watching your Twitter most of the day that you were on a Disney kick. So I'm like, are you sure you want to do it on
you should be on. You're right. I should be on Disney. It's like today I was reading West Coast Avengers, like the original 80s. So I kind of want to go, ooh, wow, you should let me tell you about West Coast Avengers. But no, actually it was a weird day yesterday, because it was a feels like temperature of 98 degrees. And I never even liked the band, so I definitely don't like the temperature. But
yeah, no,
which is something, because when you're walking around at the food festival, some of the stuff they have is from countries that do not experience this kind of heat. Like one of the things, Gail, my wife, she said she wanted to go to Ireland, and she wants to try this chocolate sticky pudding or something like that. And we got there, and what it is, it actually says warm chocolate pudding. And we were like, yeah, okay, we're going to go to Ireland. And when we got there, it was like the last thing you want now.
Yeah, because 98 degrees and also
98 degrees. And the other thing they had, and I've had it before, and I reviewed it on the video that I do the food festival stuff on, the first one. It was this cheese soup, which is really good. But once again, at 98 degrees, it's
Lord, food's not exactly what you'd call kosher at 98 degrees.
Yeah, not that kind of stuff, because that's stick to your ribs, warm you in the winter kind of food. So we're walking around going, okay, what to have. So we end up going to this one booth. Oh man, it's right. I think it was Wine and Crafts or something like that. I've got a map or something around here somewhere, but and I come to live streams prepared, but yeah, here it is. But it was this wine and cheese wine crafty thingy, and I got these scallops, because I don't remember the last time I had scallops. I was like, do I like these? It's so long. Have you ever not eaten something for so long you're like,
and you can't remember if you like it or not?
Yeah, everybody else is telling me these are good, so I must have liked them. Let me try it. So I got it. It was these scallops with black truffle or something like that.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that last night. You really
it was called the Wine and Truffle. Not at all. The Wine and Dine Studio, and it was seared scallops with truffled celery root puree, Brussels sprouts, and wild mushrooms. And first of all, scallops that are cooked to order, I understand will be good. But if they cook them and they leave them under a heat lamp, what you get is overcooked rubbery scallops. And then if you have mushrooms, what you get is it was like a plate full of truffle flavored erasers. And with a little celery root. It was really just not appetizing whatsoever.
And black truffle is an ingredient you need to use sparingly, because it's a very intense earthy flavor to it.
Well, I guess they decided to give people their money's worth, because it wasn't sparing.
Well, yeah, because it is a luxury item, so most people don't get the chance to try black truffle anything, because truffles are really expensive.
When I don't drink, I'm not a drinker. And when we walked around the World Showcase. And when we got to Japan, I was thinking, I need sake just to burn this flavor out of the back of my throat. Nothing worked for the entire day. Anytime I burped, anytime I swallowed, it was black truffle. Yeah. Now we also got butternut squash there. It was a butternut squash ravioli with brown butter vinaigrette and Parmesan cheese and pumpkin seeds.
Ooh.
And we're like, vinaigrette. That just, I know those things didn't sound like they would go together, because Gail got that. She likes pumpkin anything. She'll eat a pumpkin tennis shoe. That's the way it is there, man. If it's got pumpkin flavor on it, man, she's on it. I can, it's just one of those things. My thing, I've always said, key lime. Give me key lime pie any day. That's why I'm fat. I'm very not proud of that, but I can eat that anytime. But yeah, we tried that, man. It was really good. So
although that makes me think of remember Shape of Water, the subplot about the guy in the pie shop, and he went in to order key lime pie every time just as an excuse to talk to the guy.
Yeah, I have different motivations, but
well, obviously, but it makes me laugh, because that was like an entire I would expect a pie related subplot in the middle of a 50s monster romance pastiche, but it's Guillermo del Toro, man, so he pulled it off.
It's all good. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was I like going out there, although I get buyer's remorse kind of, because I love to eat at the Disney restaurants. And when you go to the food festival, you end up spending as much as you would had you gone to one of their expensive restaurants. So it's weird that way, because we didn't do that yesterday, because halfway around the World Showcase, we went to the concert, which I'm like, gosh, I don't want. They wanted to get under the awning, because only half of the concert area is under shade, and it's 98 degrees. So they wanted to sit there. So like, we're gonna get there. Yeah, they said they're going to get there an hour in advance. So they actually got there an hour and 15. I saw that the American Adventure was playing, so I run over to see the show while they're waiting in the seats, because I'm the tag along on this one. And and when I get back, it's a band called Plain White Tees, and I'm 50. I have no idea what they are. So I even send
the only song
tweets
of theirs that really hit popularity is Hey There Delilah. That is the song they are most known for.
Yeah, they come out and they look like everybody's D&D club. Yeah, seriously, it looks like every comic book geek or nerd you would have, except for the singer guy who comes out with this 1980s bleached and black hair. I was like, okay, he's retro. And I even said, I said to Gail, I said, oh, it looks like everybody up here looks like Ashley's friends. And then the singer comes out, and I went, oh, and their dad, because I don't know how old that man was, but he looked older than the rest of them. But unfortunately, the rain came and they had to shut down. They were not happy about that, I could tell. But it was a good day. Yeah, it did, because we ended up we didn't get to see the concert, and we ended up getting stuck in the Germany pavilion, which is not the most exciting. There's no real thing to do in Germany.
Yeah, no.
And so we're just hanging out waiting for the rain. And Gail goes, no, I'll wait. I said, why don't we just go into the restaurant, have a dinner, and we call it a day? And so she goes, no, I want to wait, because when the sun comes out, they're going to open the booths again. And I don't want to spend money on something that we can get any day. But as we're sitting there, people bring their bratwurst. They have brat dogs there. They keep sitting down with them. So Gail's looking. She goes, hey, can you go get us?
Yeah.
I thought, I knew that was going to happen, because I was fighting the urge as well. It's pretty cool. Hey, Professor Pixel, how are you doing, sir? Yeah, you are. This is how it usually is, though, on this channel. There's only a couple of people watching at any time, so that's cool. But thank you for showing up, man. But yeah, it was a fun day. We did sit there for a while, and finally, Gail's mom, who doesn't like to get her hair wet, said, "Hey, let's get an umbrella." And so as soon as she bought one, the rain stopped. And I told her that. I said, "Here it is. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you walk out there without an umbrella, it's going to keep raining. But as soon as you buy one, it's going to stop, because that's the rules." But it ended up being a really good day. Got more stuff. I'm going to make a video about that kind of about what was bought and everything. But it was an interesting day. Really cool. I found out we could get a cutting board for free if I go 2 more times, which of course I'm going to do. Got to cover it. I'm doing good. Seeing what's going on. Slow day on my end. Are you one of the comic shop owners picks? But yeah, it ended up pretty cool, and I got to try my first mimosa.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it's pronounced mimosa.
Oh, darn it. Yeah, we actually had those for both Thanksgiving and Christmas this past year, because I don't drink excessively, because I can't stand the actual like flavor of alcohol. It has to be masked by something for me to really enjoy it. And I was one of those sticks in the mud that I actually waited until he was of legal drinking age to drink. So my mom waits for like basically any excuse to get me to drink, because she knows I don't drink very often, and she finds it weird. Which is hilarious, because it's like, wait, you're the mother. This is how this is supposed to work. I'm supposed to do rebellious things, and then you're supposed to yell at me for doing said rebellious thing, not the other way around.
I lost interest. I lost interest in drinking as soon. It's like, okay, it was pure peer pressure. My teenage drinking years was pure peer pressure. Because after I became old enough, I was like, there's nothing exciting about this, and I'm drinking stuff I don't like the taste of. My friends called me the girl drink drunk, because I love mixed drinks, but I hate the taste of beer. But in all honesty, I like scotch. I like bourbon. I like whiskey and such like that. It tastes fine. I don't like vodka, and I don't like stuff like
it has absolutely it has tequila, no flavor except for like this weird paint thinner vibe it has going for it. And yes, I'm aware probably good vodka doesn't taste like that, but good vodka will set you back a pretty penny that I don't have. So
yeah, poor people drinks. That's what we can afford. So yeah, you're right. It's like drinking gasoline.
Mimosas though are like good. I actually don't mind the taste of champagne, really, especially when it is mixed with something. On Christmas we did this thing that were like these Christmas themed mimosas that had like white grape juice and like green grapes and cranberries in it instead of like orange juice, and those were really good.
Okay, well, yeah, I think they got something like that. Now I tried the what you call it, the key lime pie mimosa, but I think they've got something like what you're talking about. I'm trying to find it. Of course, I can't find it. It was like the first thing I opened it up to when I wasn't looking for it. So yeah, isn't that the way it happens? Oh, here it is. The tropical blood orange mimosa moderate. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, they had frozen apple, tropical mimosas, key lime, blood orange. It was not bad. I'm going to go back there and give it a shot. Mainly because they sell charcuteries, and I'm a sucker for those. Yeah. So anywho, oh wait, hold on. Professor Pixel is saying, if I was a comic shop owner, I would at least have one person interact with. That one person being an employee I'd be paying. Yeah, that does happen. Oh, you are a lone worker then, Professor. I understand how that is, because this is my job. I do videos either for here or for the other one. But I did create this one just so I would get out of the house and go to that's true. I was like, I need something to get out of the house for, but I didn't, I don't like to waste time. I don't like to not make money or not try to make money. So I was like, well, if I get a Disney pass, then maybe I could do another YouTube channel
that's Disney related stuff.
Yeah. I actually have thought about doing this on the other channel as well. It might only get 80 or 90, but it only gets 80 or 90 views, and it ends up messing up the algorithm for that channel.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
the capricious gremlins of the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, it's not fun. It isn't fun at all. So you said to me, "Oh, have you watched that Mary Poppins Returns trailer?"
Yes.
And I had not for a little bit, and finally, right before we started, I checked it out.
And the verdict?
I want to see this film.
Yeah, I agree. My biggest hurdle was seeing Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins.
But I know it's like it for me. It was like it's you ish, you know. She does.
This is the thing with Emily Blunt. She's very hit or miss. She has a very specific, very proper British way of carrying herself, and if she's not doing that, it falls flat every single time. But fortunately, because it's, you know, Mary Poppins, proper British really works in this instance, and her impression was very good. Like there's a line in the trailer where she's scolding Michael Banks over asking her why she hasn't aged or why she hasn't visibly aged, and it's just like, oh, that's beautiful and I love it and that's perfect and that's exactly how I would imagine Mary Poppins would react to that.
Yeah, so, I that was actually the exact line that got me on there, because when she walked in, she's very stoic and she's very, you know, I'm like, okay, is she gonna play it mean? Because Mary Poppins was curt, but she wasn't mean. So I was like, oh, she looks mean. She doesn't. There we go. Okay, there she is.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's the thing they're doing is the thing where Mary is Mary, and that is good.
Yeah. Now I do have to admit, like I said, it's the hardest thing for me is the fact that 40 years worth of watching Julie Andrews, it's hard to see anybody else as Mary Poppins
and
at all.
I think it doesn't help that Julie Andrews is technically still alive. So like it's not.
Wait, what do you mean technically? She's still alive. There's not a tech. She's not hooked up to machines.
But what I'm saying is, like, there's part of me that wants them to just try and de-age her and have her do it because she's Julie Andrews and it's Mary Poppins, and I don't feel that needs any more justification than that.
Yeah, I understand. But now, like, I would say, well, she couldn't move like Mary Poppins because you know, of her age. But then you see later in the trailer, Dick Van Dyke doing his little dance. So yeah, I love that meme. I love that. I love that. I love that meme that says 92-year-olds don't move this way unless you're Dick Van Dyke. And I was like, so happy to see this man on screen again.
It's like, I don't know if he's actually playing Bert in the movie though. I hope to God that he
No. He's playing the son of the banker from the first movie.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Although I kind of missed Bert now.
Yeah, I did have that as well when we saw the lamplighter.
Yeah, lamplighter Jack, played by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, when I saw the lamplighter, I was like, oh. The problem is and I'm a huge fan of the TV show. I'm binging it on Netflix because it's leaving at the end of September, but I'm a huge fan of Dick Van Dyke. And so, and the problem with replacing Dick Van Dyke is you cannot because it's Dick Van Dyke. He's just, I mean, no matter if you think he had a bad British accent, which he did, it was just charming as all get out. That is Dick Van Dyke's power.
That falls under the category of that's the joke. Like that's the whole point. He is that Cockney stereotype because that's just Bert's thing, and that's what makes it so funny, because you have Mary being very, you know, upper crust and very very prim and proper, and Bert's just like, oh yeah, this and that and the other, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Mary Poppins. Yeah,
yeah,
that one.
and you can tell that like she's both taken aback and also charmed by it, and so we end up also taken aback and yet charmed by it, so it works.
You would think that if they had a real problem with it, like Julie Andrews would have walked them back and said, "Okay, we're going to work on this." Just
Yeah.
but no, it's the guy's charming as heck. So yeah, Professor Pixel saying the guy playing Bert 2.0, I don't know, will be rapping in the film. Apparently, that really is just something I do
Oh
not want.
dear.
Yeah,
Oh no.
I didn't hear that, and they didn't show it on the thing. It sounds bad on paper,
I
but we'll
hope
see.
to
We'll
God
see how it goes.
that I'm being trolled and that does not happen in anywhere resembling this
It
movie.
wouldn't even make sense because 1935. So I hope they don't do that because it's supposed to take place in 1935, which I guess is good. They're doing it now because 6 years later, and you don't actually want to tell a whimsical tale in England.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for the time period though, I was a little. I have to admit, I was a little disappointed that they're going with the Bankses. I thought it would be a new family and everything, and that they have to help the Banks' children. I don't like the fact that Jack is is now like his dad because he saw it. He jumped into the painting. He laughed on the ceiling. So okay, maybe he
Michael, you mean?
loses. Michael. Why did I
Yeah.
say Jack? Was I'm thinking
Jack
Hook
Jack is the
because it's the same
lamplighter
story.
character,
Jack is okay.
and Michael
No, I
is
was totally thinking the Hook kid rather than while I named the Hook kid while I was thinking about Michael.
yeah.
But
It's the same
the
problem
whole
you
thing
get with a
is
lot of these child who grew into a overly adult needs to learn how to lighten the fuck up again stories because it's
whoa.
oh
Can you
sorry
guys stop on this channel with the language, please?
sorry I
Yeah.
forgot myself but but and now I completely lost my train of thought. Give me a second to
You were talking about how you have the kids who lose their imagination and
oh
they lose
yeah
their
that whole subplot and how contrived it always is, especially when you do have someone who has overt magic in their lives as Michael did. And I get that they're gonna do the thing where he rationalizes to himself and says, "Oh, it was just all my imagination. This couldn't possibly be real." And then Mary Poppins is going to be Mary Poppins and be slightly taken aback by that and probably show him up, and it's going to be
yeah.
amazing. Because
But of course, that
how...
doesn't fit if you have Jane next to him saying, "Hey, remember when we went into the chalk painting, and remember when we laughed on the ceiling, and Mary
it's
Poppins slid up the banister?" And
yeah, it's also possible that she's going to try and I think a large part of the movie is going to be Mary Poppins basically showing that definitively, no, this was not your imagination. This is a thing that happened, and it's going to happen again because apparently I didn't teach you everything that I was supposed to teach. Which, okay, so my issue with it being the Bankses again is it makes Mary Poppins a little bit too much like a fairy godmother.
okay, yeah, I can see that. The
Because
I'm watching it right now as well.
the point that I always thought of her was she is a magical presence that comes into someone's life when they need her, and then she moves on to someone else because the whole wandering mystic thing is
Yeah.
basically what I always assumed for Mary. So I get that occasionally she might come back and basically check up on her charges every now and again. But seeing that it is the Banks again after 20 years, it's just like, okay, so are you coming back just because, a routine check-in? Are you coming back because they need you again? Are you coming back because you're disappointed? Like, there's so many motivations in this, and none of them really 100% work. So they're probably going to have to do some kind of, okay, I'm going to have to teach you this lesson again because you didn't learn it well enough the first time. Which I can totally see Mary Poppins doing, I guess, so that doesn't bother me. But like, it's seeing her so focused around the Bankses rather than, and maybe she will help other kids in the movie, or maybe she'll. What I've always wanted is seeing like some of her other charges from previous eras, because apparently she's been doing this for centuries. So wouldn't it be interesting to see? They did that kind of in the movie, the sequel to Nanny McPhee, where she'll run into somebody and they'll have been one of her charges, and you know there's that sort of almost similar to the way the Doctor is treated in Doctor Who, kind of, holy crap, that's this person, and therefore I innately have respect for them, kind of thing.
In the comment section, Trusty Sidekick is saying he wants a Mary Poppins Nanny McPhee smackdown.
I'm not sure a smackdown would be appropriate because it's beneath both of them, but watching, I kind of imagine there's like this union of magical nannies that they're both a part of. Like, I could see them like in some like heavenly bureaucrat's office, just like coming and going from meetings together and like having just this courteous professional respect for one another.
See, now that makes me think that there's this there's this angry old manager that's your tactics are off the charts, Mary Poppins. You're off this case. Oh, you can't pull me off this case. I'm gonna solve it without you, and you know, that kind of thing going on.
Mary Poppins in a cop drama.
Yeah, basically, it's what it sounds like here. What we have, we've got, she comes back to make sure they have been flossing after all those spoonful of sugar. That is plausible. Julie Andrews, it's an automatic win there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Julie is almost perfect, isn't she? She was. Yeah, especially as this. But, oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, Julie Andrews in the original. That's why she got the Oscar.
Yeah. And she definitely deserved it. So
now I may get this story wrong, but I do believe Julie Andrews was doing My Fair Lady on stage, and then she went to do Mary Poppins. But when she did Mary Poppins, the Warner Brothers, I think, that did My Fair Lady, it might have been Fox, I think it's Warner Brothers, decided that they didn't want her for My Fair Lady because she worked for Disney. And she ended up getting the Oscar for that. So, but then again, I think Audrey Hepburn got at least nominated. So it ended up okay. But they had to redub the singing and such for Audrey Hepburn. So, yeah, that was weird.
You could have at least replaced her with someone who could sing, but what do I know?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm actually watching the trailer. I keep resetting as we're talking so I could see everything that's going on and being reminded of it and such like this. They do the mirror trick. I just saw that again, where, you know, the mirror does something different than her. So there's a couple of callbacks. I do like the fact that her umbrella still has the parrot, and I want to see the parrot talk. Because the parrot did talk to her in the original. There's stuff, I mean, and I think I just saw a Mary Poppins novel on their piano. It might be called something else, but the art I remember came from one of the Mary Poppins books. So I got to slow down and check it out frame by frame. No, but here's something I do love. Whether they did it through computer, which they probably did or not, the flowers that turn into butterflies, and then she boops a penguin on the nose, and that's 2D animation. And I like that. I like the fact that they didn't go 3D animation if they're jumping into another cartoon. I like the fact that they went 2D. Yeah.
It very much does seem like a large point of the movie is going to be the Banks is rediscovering all of this from the get-go.
Now, here's something. It's kind of an admission of what the first movie's really about. You know, the whole talk about how the book was saving Mr. Banks, that wasn't public knowledge. That wasn't something that a lot of people were acknowledging for a long time. So you had to come up with that yourself. Now it seems like if she's coming by, I'm here to save the Bankses. Oh, and you too. It's kind of right away telling you that while I'm helping the children, I'm really here to save the adults, which was the secret of the first movie, but it's out in the open.
It's another case of this makes her more like a fairy godmother to the Bankses as opposed to just a wandering, like, did you ever see the movie Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium?
Yeah, it was all right.
I always thought that Mary Poppins was a lot like Mr. Megorium in that he would show up, do whatever it was he needed to do, have whatever impact he needed to have, and then he would go about his business doing other things. But with this, it's like, oh, I was here to save the Banks children all along, and it's like, okay, but that kind of seems antithetical to your whole shtick, unless you are just, unless, you know, some long deceased ancestor of the Bankses struck some kind of, you know, deal to have you check in on the family every couple of centuries or something.
Professor Pixel saying the person who is in charge of the Magic Nanny Company is in fact the fairy godmother from Cinderella. So that actually, I kind of dig that. That's a fan theory I can get behind.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I like the fact that it looks like it's going to be a good old fashioned family film. It's not, because a lot of them nowadays, it's filled with pop culture references and
I don't think
fart jokes and stuff like that.
If there is a single fart joke in the movie, I will be nonplussed, because to even put the phrase fart joke and Mary Poppins in the same sentence is someone's head is gonna roll.
Because otherwise, I have to admit, it really does make. I want to see, the child in me wants to see this film, and I just have to stop eating children. It just looks like it's a ton of fun. It really does.
Yeah, it seems like they are going through the effort of making it as close to a good sequel as they can with the time.
When we're done with this, I'm going to be watching Mary Poppins. I'm going to be popping that one in. Check it out. I think, it's just a lot of fun. It really is. The other story that I wanted to talk about tonight, the last one. I don't know if it'll be the last one. You know how this goes. You can't really say. But apparently, the EPCOT has had the Illuminations show for quite a while now, and they have decided that it's going to be ending. Now, of course, they make the announcement, and I was like, oh, wow, when is this going to start? And I checked it out. It's like next year. So I was like, oh, okay, there's no hurry then. Because I was actually at EPCOT going, oh, man, we need to see this before it goes. And then I looked at the dates, and I saw, oh, okay, fall of 2019. I think I can get there before that, you know. But I just had it and I lost it, but I was looking for what they were calling it. I read it off to you, but they actually came up with a new name for it as well. And I swear I have lost that particular story. So I am not good at stalling here. So, also have you ever heard of, they've got a cartoon out now called Marvel Rising.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came up with some action figures for it, and it looks like 4 pop pop singer figures. Like it was like, oh, I'm part of 98 Degrees, and like it didn't win, so they put superhero clothing on it. It's some of the worst.
Like a Bratz doll. Playing as a superhero.
Yes, exactly. It was. Oh, here it is. Let me click on this one so I can check it out. Disney files a trademark for the name SKYMOSPHERE. Why? That is the worst name.
That name is not.
Nobody's gonna try to steal that.
Have it, honestly.
Yeah. Do you want this name? I don't want this name. Do we need this name? No, it's fine. We don't need to. Are we stuck with SKYMOSPHERE?
It sounds like a cheesy 90s sci-fi action movie from like the producers of Sharknado. SKYMOSPHERE.
Yeah, you're right. So it does sound like a sci-fi bad movie. Let's see. On August 27th, Disney filed trademark for the name SKYMOSPHERE. This, by the way, comes from the Diz Unplugged. That's where I'm reading from. Disney hasn't officially stated what the name could be used for, or if it will be used at all. But there is some speculation that it could be related to the Nighttime Spectacular that will be replacing Illuminations. That's what I would figure. As soon as I heard that myself, I thought, oh, okay, so this is going to be the Illuminations, but SKYMOSPHERE is not good.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it should be a trailer for something where the stereotypical narrator voice goes, in a world.
Now, they're saying here that it could also be the name of the Skyliner transportation. Now, Skyliner, fine, keep it. That sounds good. Skyliner. That's the transportation system. That's the gondola thing, flying over Disney property. That sounds good. SKYMOSPHERE does not sound good. So yeah, I would not pay the money that it would take to trademark that. I'm looking at some of the comments here, and Seabase Alpha is saying, really think they missed out by not calling it SKYMOUSEPHERE. Yeah.
Well done, you.
Right. Yeah. Either way, dude. I don't like that name.
Yeah. No.
I understand.
It sounds like a parody title that's like a South Park sketch would come up with for a cheesy action movie.
Yep. Let's see. The person who's in charge. About Time, honestly. Actually, I agree with you, Professor Pixel, that Illuminations has been around for 20 years. It's a good show. It is, but it's been around for 20 years. They changed the Magic Kingdom fireworks, it seems like every 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is about time. I think part of the reason why we've had so many updates on the Magic Kingdom is what they do now is they project movie scenes onto the castle. So they change it to update, like if so they could put Moana in, or Coco, or whatever the new popular one is going to be. I do remember they had some Wreck-It Ralph and Happy Ending. Or Happily Ever After. Freudian slip. So there's so I can understand that. Illumination's been around for 20 years, so it's time to get a new show. I agree with that, even though it is a great show. I told Gail I want to go to a Mexican restaurant that is right on the lagoon, and they have this big bay window that looks out into the at the fireworks. If you can get a reservation around 8:30 or so, you can sit there and watch the fireworks while you have your dinner. That sounds like it would be really good. Trusty Sidekick saying, had to drop out long enough to watch the Mary Poppins Returns trailer, and I actually got goosebumps. It really does look that good, doesn't it, Trusty? It looks like it's going to be very entertaining.
It really does seem like they haven't skipped a beat in terms of, like, if the movie that from what I'm seeing is the movie we're going to get, it seems like it could have come out in like 5 years after the original, and we all would have just been fine with it, because it really does seem like they haven't skipped much of a beat, even with, you know, it having been how many decades since the original.
So how long would it take you to get a copy and watch Mary Poppins?
I don't think it would take very long. I mean, it's on TV all the time, and I'm pretty sure it's somewhere on demand. So we could
yeah, you know how we were talking, we could do a when we get around to the actually, yeah, let's wait until the movie comes out, but around then we'll have to do a we'll watch it and then we'll do a little review and such like that. You know, where we could basically critique, like we're doing that. I mean, heck, if we could talk for 40 minutes about the trailer alone,
well,
we could do the movie.
It's Mary Poppins, so yeah, there's a lot to say.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm interested to see just how well the two movies hold up together. Like if you were to watch them back to back.
Yeah.
Or if you watch Mary Poppins and Saving Mr. Banks and then Mary Poppins Returns, how would they fit together? Just because it has
I think that you would understand it a little bit better, actually, because I really do think that the fact that she comes in and says, "I'm here to save the Banks' children," and she goes, "Oh, and you," I think that is almost as an answer to Saving Mr. Banks. So yeah, I could see that. Professor, hold on just a sec. Professor Pixel says, as I said before, it's really an okay show channel. Squirrel Girl doesn't look hideous like she does in the comics. Talking about Uprising, and I loved Wreck-It Ralph on the Castle. I'm a sucker for the retro look. Yeah, yeah, that did look pretty good, and it is such a great show. It really is. It's such a great fireworks show, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Illuminations. What were you going to say?
It also might just be Mary being a little bit cheeky. Like, I still maintain that it's not one or the other. It wasn't Mr. Banks or the children. It was Mr. Banks and the children. I think everyone involved in the original Mary Poppins needed her in some way. Like even the cook, because from what I remember, the cook and a lot of the help the Bankses had were quite miserable as well. Before Mary came along, and then of course, by about the midpoint of the movie, everyone was happy and chipper and whistling. And I think that's the point. I think Mary doesn't show up just for one person or just for a couple people. She shows up when everyone needs to benefit from her special brand of help.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. That really does. Okay, those were going to be the three stories we talked about. I was going to close up with those, but as you know, while we were looking around, I found one I hadn't seen before, so I want to check it out, and it's called Up Close with the Rhinos. Is a tour that's coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom starting November 1st. Up Close with the Rhinos. Now, most of these up close are where you can actually go on a guided tour of the safaris or so I understand people could feed the giraffes and all that kind of stuff. This is up close with rhinos. So, okay. It's a new tour at Disney Animal Kingdom centered on their white rhinos. It's coming in November. It's an hour-long backstage guided tour that explores how the park's animal team takes care of white rhinos that roam the savannah on the Kilimanjaro safaris, as well as efforts Disney is taking to help protect the endangered rhinos in the wild. During the tour, guests will get up close with the rhinos and may even have a chance to touch one. Tours will begin on November 1st. Okay. Caitlin Miller, a member of the Rhino Care team, told the Disney Park blogs, I love talking to guests about how unique each individual rhino personality is. I know once a guest comes to meet the rhinos, they're going to see just how amazing they are and will want to help us secure a future for them. The tour costs $40. Wow.
That's not bad. That's really not bad.
No, there are some cheap tours around Disney, which video idea, and it will be available to select pass holders and Disney Vacation Club members. Oh, well, I'm glad I'm one of those select pass holders. Usually when they say select pass holders, they mean the ones like they're the platinum and all that kind of stuff. I've got the platinum, so I'm happy. I figured if I'm going to get a Disney annual pass, I'm going for it.
You want to splurge so you'll have access to everything.
Everything, yeah. I even got free golfing, like free admission on the golf course. I don't golf, but I'm thinking I want to just because it says booking will open.
It's something you have access to that most people don't have access to. So yeah,
it says booking will open on World Rhino Day, which is September 22nd, as there will be one tour offered each day. Advanced booking is highly recommended. No kidding. If I get paid before that, I think I'm going to set up a rhino tour. That just sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
That would be an interesting concept for a video at the very least.
Oh, absolutely. But man, that does sound like it'd be really good, really fun. Let's see, Saving Mr. Banks. That's the name of the movie with Tom Hanks as Walt. I love that movie too, Professor Pixel.
Yeah,
I loved Saving Mr. Banks.
That movie is imperfect, but it's a really good movie, especially if you are a Disney-phile.
Yep.
And you know all the it's funny, but I think you get more out of it if you know the stories going in. Because you get to go, oh, she's doing the thing that, it's documented that she did, or, oh, he's doing the thing, and yeah, especially when they get all personal, and Tom Hanks talks about his, life growing up delivering papers and stuff. That might be my favorite scene of the movie, because it shows that it's not that Disney is just being hard about everything. They come from similar places. Their various backgrounds just led them to different places.
Oh, Professor Pixel is saying I wouldn't want to be the first one to go on that rhino tour. I would want to ask them, do they smell fear? Because I think I would be nervous. I think there would be a little bit of childlike fear. Like
rhinos
this thing can
actually be fairly docile. It's really only if you take.
Hey, bulldogs can too.
Well, yeah, but it's really, in a lot of ways, rhinos are very similar to elephants in the whole. If you've ever seen any cartoon where an elephant is afraid of mice thing, unless you get them up into a stampeding frenzy, they're mostly just docile. Granted, going up to one in the wild, probably not the best choice of action, but as long as you behave yourself and aren't a complete moron, you should be fine.
Okay. Now I've got, I like to end on these top 10 lists. Oh, wait, no, there was one more story that I wanted to talk about, but, and then we'll get to the ending and we'll talk about the top 10 list and so forth and so on. Cause I like to end with those just to go over, see, okay, do I agree? Do we disagree? What's up? We should make our own top 10 lists a couple of times. That would be kind of fun. But there were a couple of stories. One is, I didn't know if I'm very bad about this as far as doing this as a job. And that is, I look at stuff and I go, well, that's not really a story because blah, 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 yada, yada. I justify it in my head because I'm somebody who hears this kind of stuff all the time. So I just think that everybody must be hearing this all the time. So it's not a real story. Star-Lord and Groot meet and greet ending this month at Disney Hollywood Studios. is not a story to me because meet and greets come and go all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't report on stuff like that very often, just because of that. It's nothing, you know, some people may be interested. Some people, oh, I loved meeting Star-Lord, therefore I have to go see that. You know, but I put my own biases in this. Biases.
No, you had it right the first time. Bias.
Yeah. So I put them in myself, and I have to learn not to. The other one, and this was the story that I thought that I read and went, yeah, but is it really a story? Because I hear this kind of stuff all the time, and that is that there's a rumor. And I said it just like that to make it understand that there's an Indian pavilion coming to Epcot's showcase with massive Jungle Book ride. Now, here's the reason why I read it and I didn't think that it was a real story is because, one, the word rumor. Two, it's been rumored that something is coming to Epcot ever since Epcot opened.
Yeah.
I heard Siam. Back when Thailand was being referred to as Siam, actually, it has been. I heard Thailand. I've heard Brazil. I heard that there was going to even be a Vietnam at one point, and I was like, no, that one. I was like, no, there isn't. No, not in our lifetime will there ever be a Vietnam.
Not in your life.
Yeah. So there, I mean, everything you could possibly think of has been rumored to be going into the World Showcase, and it all covers the same area, which is between China and Norway, which is now a drink station, which frankly, that drink station is very important to me because when you're doing that long walk, it is a nice
beverages.
Yeah, and it does have little cooling sprays and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it always goes in the same place. Everybody is absolutely sure that drink station is going to be replaced with a land, and that's been going on for 30 years. So when I see stuff like this, I don't know if this is a story people would be interested in, because I'm always like, well, really? But Jungle Book hit, and Epcot is bringing more and more IP into the park.
As they should. Let's be entirely honest there. I mean,
it does help.
FEISTY has always been the redheaded stepchild of Disney World, unfortunately.
I love it for what it is.
Because it was my favorite. It was my favorite park that we went to, and we went to all the four like main parks when I went to Disney, and FEISTY was still my favorite. So I'm not bagging on FEISTY, but FEISTY could really use some Disneyfication every now and then.
Yeah, and well, I did a video and we talked about it. Actually, the video was us talking like this is going to be for this one. But it was, of course, about the Mary Poppins the rumored ride for Mary Poppins. Now this one, let's see, we're still waiting to hear if the Brazil pavilion is coming. Yeah. As well as the announcement of the Mary Poppins ride, it says. But now we're hearing that Walt Disney Imagineering has another full-blown pavilion in development, and that is India. Okay, now let's see. It says an Indian pavilion has actually been among the long list of rumored countries to be added to the back half of the park, with Disney holding meetings with the Indian government officials way back in 1986. Told you. Mm-hmm. According to the Orlando Sentinel, the India booth that's the big Orlando newspaper. The India booth at Epcot International Food and Wine Festival is popular, and Sanaa at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge is possibly the best sit-down restaurant in all of Walt Disney World. I disagree. I freaking disagree with that statement. They need to get rid of that word possibly. Could you imagine being able to get Sanaa-like dishes, including bread service? Oh, gosh, yeah, that's so good. From table and counter service restaurants while at Epcot. Maybe this sounds like a better thematic fit for Animal Kingdom theme park, but there are other plans for expanding there in the next few years, and we'll be sharing that at a later date. If the plans for Epcot's Indian Pavilion come to fruition, it will be anchored by a massive e-ticket attraction, a boat ride based on the 2016 hit live-action film, The Jungle Book. I'm on board.
Yeah. this sounds like a really good idea if they do in fact go through it. And more importantly, an India pavilion sounds like a good idea just in general, because it is a very interesting culture and a very distinct culture that doesn't really get represented very often.
It goes on to say that some people prefer the ride to be based on the animated classic, and there is arguments to be made for that, but the live action grossed over $1 billion worldwide. The film will also eventually have a sequel. Now, my whole thing, if I'm going classic versus animated, I think the live action would be a better fit for EPCOT.
Yeah, I agree on the basis of one of the biggest selling points of the remake of the Jungle Book was its technical acumen. And if you're going to make an attraction, technical acumen is one of those things you have to keep in mind, because people want to be wowed and people want to see things they're not going to see under most normal circumstances.
Now, the arguments against the live action would be characters. Like the character meet and greets go better if you're dealing with the animated, because that's more kid friendly.
And also more just like the characters were a weak point, in my opinion, in the live action one. At least in comparison to the animated one, who, you know, everyone knows Blue and Bagheera and King Louie and even Shere Khan to an extent. So like, if you're going to do it character based, then yeah, you're going to want to at least have both, if not do the animated one.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be a good idea just to have both and have it be split somehow. But
yeah, like they do the character meet and greet with the animated, and you have the live action be the boat ride thing. I think that would be kind of cool. It says it's going to be like the Pirates Caribbean battle for the sunken treasure that's at Shanghai Disney. Which if you ever see the YouTube video of that, it looks amazing and it's huge. So yeah, I'm all in. They've sold me. I'm definitely renewing my pass for that if it's true. And it says the project could be a few years away, as the sequel is not even set to resume production until after the live action Lion King released in 2019. So we'll see. But yeah, it would be kind of cool to get a new thing in EPCOT, because it's been a long time coming.
EPCOT really just needs a overhaul, and everything needs to be as upgraded as it can be. Not to say they should change anything. I think they just need to make everything that is there better, a better version of whatever it is.
Yeah. Professor Pixel says EPCOT got rid of innovations or something like that. Yeah, it was innovations. And that's when I stopped really caring about it. Innovations was not very innovative, though. It really was going downhill. The thing is, what they do is they get sponsors, and the sponsors kind of help with the upkeep. That's one of the things that happened to Imagination. I believe that was Kodak, and they didn't want to put all the money into it, and they wanted it changed for some reason, and it ended up changing, and then they never updated it, and it's kind of gone to pot. The version you get now is nowhere near as good as the original. And I think the same thing might have happened with Innovations. They just stopped innovating. They stopped, building upon it. And that was part of the problem with that.
I really do think EPCOT would benefit from going back to like Disney's original like ambitions for it, which were basically a nonstop World's Fair, or a, you know, larger, more upscale version of Tomorrowland. I think if EPCOT doubled down on those aspects, it would really work. Which isn't to say that you should get rid of things like the World Showcase, because if you got rid of the World Showcase, I would throw an absolute tantrum.
Well, that is what the future world is supposed to be. It's what it's supposed to represent. But in Innovations was where you got all of the upcoming technology. You kind of got a view of the upcoming technology. And they It did. It seriously went to pot. And it got to a point where the carpeting was so bad in there that when you walked in, it was like being slapped in the face with black mold. It was not a fun time to be in there by the time they closed it down. So I'm not so mad that they closed it down. I'm mad that they let it fall that far before it was closed down, or they didn't upkeep and keep it open. Now, one thing that's really strange is I'm not exactly sure what the Guardians of the Galaxy is coming, and how it'll fit into the whole dynamic of the World's Fair aspect of Future World.
Disney Hollywood Studios more than
yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, that's what I've got. I mean, there's more, but we could always talk about it in a couple of days here, because I really do want to go, one live on that day and one live here, and then I Love Comics, then one here, so forth and so on. But my gosh, there's so many stories here that I'm seeing that I want to talk about. Signing packages for Christmas fantasy parades coming up. There's the new stuff for Disney Afternoon characters that have come out. I've seen a couple of them. They've got some Darkwing Duck pins that came out. We're going to have Ralph Breaks the Internet coming up. A lot of stuff. Kingdom Hearts 3 extended trailer. So yeah, a lot of stuff. And I want to talk about all of this, but we'll see.
Pace yourself.
Say again?
I said pace yourself.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how long do you want to talk on a live stream. Grab the updated version of our free PDF guide, is saying. Epcot Food and Wine Festival. Halloween time, Oktoberfest. So they've got new beers. And, oh yeah, and the Move It, Shake It is ending as well. But that's not... That's the kind of thing where I never thought of it as news, because shows stop, new shows come in. It's just been the way it is. So I think, let's see. Here's one that I was going to end with one thing, but here's something I want to end with, because I just did a video about it today. As a matter of fact, I released a video where me and my family went and we had lunch at Enzo's Hideaway Tunnel Bar, because it's got 40% off for annual pass holders. And I see this thing, 8 things you'll love about Enzo's Hideaway Tunnel Bar. So let me see if I like going through these, see if it I agree with them. The first one is the location. We love taking a break of parks in the afternoon or evening. This revamped location is extensive and chock full of full dining shop. Okay, I disagree. Location is hard to find, because it's supposed to be a hideaway tunnel bar, and it's literally hidden away. It's one of these things you got to go down the steps around the corner and down through this thing. It's not easy to find. The backstory,
that's also part of the theming, so you get
yes,
I guess.
Yes, but it is like there's Maria and Enzo's is the main restaurant. It's on the top level and it's there. You can find it. Are you looking for a restaurant? There. Maria and Enzo's takes a little bit extra. And yes, I got to admit I was stupid enough to have walked by the sign that has said Maria Enzo's Hideaway Tunnel Bar, because I read it as, because it's near the front of Maria and Enzo's Italian restaurant, and I thought, oh, okay, that's the sign for that, because I just read Enzo's. So yes, I am one of the stupid ones. Backstory, like other locations in Walt Disney World, Disney Springs Enzo's Hideaway has a rich backstory created by the Disney Imagineers. That's something I do like about Disney Springs. They do actually come up with stories for everything. Having formerly run a bakery out of before it closed, he soon discovered an area underneath the terminal connected to the abandoned power plant, better known as Disney Guests at the end of tunnels that were used by rum runners. Okay, so yeah, that's what I kind of figured it was. I kept saying in the review, it's like an old speakeasy. It's like an old speakeasy. And it really does look like an abandoned tunnel. It says the third one is the theming, and that's part of it. I do agree with this one because there's the way I described it, it looks low rent and classy all at the same time.
Like because speakeasy should.
Yeah, and like there's graffiti on the walls, like it used to be an old Subway or something like that, and it's done up, and it still looks nice, mind you, because it's very well placed random graffiti all across everything, and you got a mixture of brick and concrete, and some of the booths do look like they were just placed there because they had room for something like that.
Organized chaos.
Yeah. Now here's where they get it wrong. The bar is underground, which means there aren't any windows, and that is true. While this might be an issue for some guests, it really helps to create the immersive atmosphere. I agree with that. Despite the bar's name, there's actually only one tunnel to be found. No, there's two. There's one that goes in where you check in and they walk you to your table, the entrance. But then if you're going to the restroom, you have to walk through a tunnel, which actually takes you to another restaurant's restroom. And I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it shows that, you know, it's hidden away, or you can find like a secret entrance into the restaurant or something like that. Yeah. The exposed ductwork, rustic bricks, and arches and ceilings help to create the feeling of a bygone era just rediscovered. You'll have to really look and find the entrance to Enzo's hideaway. That's why I don't like the location. But yeah, yeah, you get what? Oh, it's it cost us for 3 people, three entrees, 1 appetizer, one dessert cost $112. Now we got 40% off, so it broke down to $72. But yeah, that it would have originally cost $110. It's not cheap. Let's see, Disney details. Disney is known for attention to details. Enzo's hideaway is no exception. It has kept the period detail he found when he came across the old Rum Runners tunnel. You'll want to wander around and truly absorb all of this rich detail. Check out the bootlegging newspapers articles. I did that. I've got those pictures on the video, which were presumably found during renovations. Make sure you take a few minutes to read the graffiti. I did that as well. Some of it's pretty good. And then the drinks I didn't have. Well, no, we had one. We had a mocktail my daughter wanted. And it was ginger beer and strawberries. And it was good.
Yum.
And they say, yeah, then they say eats. That's the food. Yes, the food is good. And then they have this is basically a commercial. So yeah. And then the last one is the vibe. And yeah, I liked it. And I told that's what I mentioned. It was a good vibe. It was like, it was high class, low class. It's high class for low class people, I guess.
Or low class for high class people.
Low class for high class people. Yeah. That works too. But yeah, it was kind of funny. Oh, we lost everybody but Professor Pixel, I guess. Oh well, I don't mind. Do you mind?
No.
No, me neither. Let's see, and then the last one. Do you mind if I do one more?
By all means, go right ahead.
10 rookie mistakes at Magic Kingdom and how to avoid them. I like these because I think this is going to be another commercial.
Yeah, it very much says.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
It's the in-house list. Well, you work here, so you know this, and this. And by the way, we have awesome stuff. So chill.
The number 10 mistake: not learning the park's layout. Get a map. That's what they say. Study the park before you leave home. Once there, pick up a physical map. Yeah, that's not a rookie mistake. The rookie mistake is not getting a map, because you're going to need a map so you know the times for any show you want to see.
Yeah.
That would be, it's not learning the park's layout. The rookie mistake is, if it's your first time, make sure you're getting the map.
Yeah.
The second one, I would say, just building off of that, ask. There are employees or cast members everywhere. Ask. That would be a rookie mistake to not knowing the park. Nobody knows the park's layout if it's their first time. So if it's your first time, make sure that, okay, well, it's a big old circle. When you go up, first you go through the Main Street USA, which here's a rookie mistake, passing by Main Street USA without taking a look around. Now, maybe in the morning time, if you get there before rope drop, you have time to wander around and check it out. And that's really cool. But if you don't have time in the morning time, if you want to rush over to the lands and the rides, when you're coming back, take time to look around because Main Street is amazing. Let's see. Number 9, they have not making dining reservations. Okay. Unless you've got kids who are about 6 to 10 and they get tired easy, or you want to do something where you're taking a break out of your day, you do not want to do a midday sit down restaurant. If this is okay, and I'm going to amend this, if it is your only day at the park, if you've only scheduled one day for Magic Kingdom, you never schedule or make a reservation for Crystal Palace, for the Skipper's Cantina, Be Our Guest, or the Plaza, because that will take you an hour and a half, 2 hours out of your one day for the Magic Kingdom. Go to Pecos Bill. It's the best. It's the best quick service food in the park. That would be my thing. But otherwise, yeah, you definitely have to make dining reservations in advance if you want a sit down. If you have multiple days, not using FastPass Plus, that's actually a good one. Make sure you get your 3 in. Not arriving at rope drop. Ooh, see, now there you go. You can't. I don't know. You get a little bit extra from arriving at rope drop in the morning, but you can get the same thing if you stay at night when people are watching the fireworks. The rides are also as empty, so that would be what I'd. So it's either or,
because everyone during the fireworks is usually doing things.
Yeah, they're in the hub, and then most people after the fireworks turn around and leave. Now, you also will not be kicked out of a line. So if they close at 10 o'clock and you get in at 9:59, you're in. So you'll be able to do that. Oh, hey, number 6, not enjoying Main Street USA. We already talked about that one. Yep. Planning only one day. I agree. Walt Disney World theme parks Walt Disney World has 4 theme parks. So one day in each park should be plenty, right?
No.
Oh,
that was a mistake that we made.
Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and EPCOT are 2-day parks. I would say, well, Animal Kingdom might be a 1-day park if you're coming in the summertime. No, it's a 2-day park. And Hollywood Studios, as it stands right now, is a 1-day park.
Yeah, but they're working quite hard on giving it an expansive overhaul. So yeah,
when Star Wars hits, it's out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So
and if and when they actually get the rights to use their Marvel properties as well.
Okay, mistake number 4, not trying the Dole Whip. Ooh, here we go. And I actually am I've got a t-shirt idea based on that, but based on this, but I don't know. Dole Whip or Citrus Swirl. I actually agree with this one, but I'll add on Citrus Swirl as well, because those are just awesome-nating. The Dole Whip is an iconic Magic Kingdom snack with it's pineapple and it's awesome. It really is. You can get it in an upside down cake now. Yeah. Skipping Mickey. It's not hard to find Mickey Mouse at Walt Disney World. It is easy to decide to meet him in another park or maybe at a character meal. It's just simple to justify skipping Mickey at the Magic Kingdom, especially if there's a long waiting time. I agree, but the thing is the Mickey in the park kind of has this audio thing, so it's like he's talking to you, but it's very scripted. So if you try to go off script, he still sticks to the script, and it doesn't sound proper. They need a live, like somebody feeding the lines to Mickey in order to make it work, because otherwise it really is scripted and it doesn't make sense. If your kids are saying, if Mickey decides to show you a magic trick and your kid wants to show him a picture of something or other, Mickey's going to go through that magic trick while the kid is trying to talk to him about something else. So it is. That's the one thing I would say that's wrong with the Mickey Mouse meet and greet these days. But otherwise, it's of course it's fun. Thinking some rides are boring. Well, everybody's got their tastes, but yeah, some of the ones that people think are boring are actually really good. Did you ride the People Mover?
I don't think it was there when we went. I think it was.
Yes, it was. Oh, it was closed? I know it was there because it's been around since the beginning, but that's one of my favorite rides, and it's literally sit down and ride around Tomorrowland. That's it. It's one of my favorite rides of all time.
I think it was closed for
renovations
at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the big I'm the same way with It's a Small World. I actually enjoy that one, but I know some people, but I get it because I was a teenager and my friends were like, I don't want to ride on this. I don't want to ride on Snow White's Scary Adventures. I don't want to ride on this. So boring. It's so because they just kept thinking roller coasters, and I liked everything. I've never
actually been a big fan of roller coasters. I think they're too, they're too. I guess the word is bloated for my liking. I prefer my thrills to be a little bit more reasonably paced.
Yeah.
And not breakneck speed all the time.
Yeah. Well, I like roller coasters as well. It's just I like watching animatronics and doing the show things as well. So one thing I am jealous about Disneyland over Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World is they still have Mr. Toad's. I want Mr. Toad's Wild Ride back. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that was their thing. I agree with some of these. Oh, and they say you can make a mistake leaving early, which I do agree. Because there's theme parks at night look great.
Yeah,
they really do.
Nightlife is definitely a thing.
Yeah. So anyway, that's their. I agree with a lot of these things. Disagree with some. I would say you make a mistake if you don't carry an umbrella, even if it doesn't look like rain. You might. I know it's a pain in the butt to go through the security thing, but bring a bag. If you're in summertime, maybe bring a change of shirts because you're gonna get sweaty. You're gonna feel uggy. You definitely want to stay hydrated. A lot of people don't do that because, northern climes and all. But when you come here, even though you skip breakfast in the morning time up north, you want to eat it here so you have the strength. You want to make sure you're hydrated. That's something I would say. Oh, another rookie mistake, that teenager that you may have that wears 72 pounds of black clothing everywhere they go and a freaking ski cap in the summertime. Because, you live in Montana, don't do that. You don't want to wear black from head to toe in Florida during the summertime. Not even during the fall and spring, because we can get you then too. Because yeah, I've seen so many people pass out from heat exhaustion, and teenagers trying to be cool. Let them understand if they need to listen to this. Make them understand nobody's looking at you. There's a 6-foot mouse walking around these streets. You're not what people are looking at. That nobody knows you, and this is the time to relax and be comfortable. Comfortable is better than cool when going around the theme parks in Florida. But that would be my big thing. Oh, and the other one, another rookie mistake: parents overplan and they don't listen to their young kids. And I'm talking about toddlers up to like 8. They might not have the same agenda as you. You want to go on this ride, go on that ride, that ride. They just want to see that really cool setup over here. They want to look at this. If you've got a kid that young, they're going to show you what they think is fun. And even if you guys have to do baby swapping, do the baby swapping. Let them show you what's going to be fun. Because I promise you, if your children are having a good time, you're going to have a good time. And that would be my rookie mistake things. Anyway, that's about all I got. What do you think?
No, I think that about covers it.
Yeah. Professor Pixel saying, Magic some good food out there, but when you talk about restaurants, like Animal Kingdom's got the best in-park restaurants. Oh no, well, EPCOT and then Animal Kingdom, because EPCOT has the World Showcase.
Yeah.
Let's see. I heard a rumor a while ago that they were bringing back Mr. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Unfortunately, yeah, I think it's just a rumor.
Bringing back Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah. And he's saying he hasn't been to be our guest. I went there once and it wasn't a great experience, but I'm willing to give it a second. And I am going to give it a second try. They have this new price fix menu now. And Gail's always wanted to go there, so I'm going to set it up for her birthday. So I can take her on her birthday. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good time. But yeah, that's about all I got. So Professor Pixel, sir, thank you very much for joining. Trusty Sidekick, thank you very much for the comments and the whole 9 yards. Dalton, as always, it's fun to chat with you no matter the subject.
Yeah, no problem.
And yeah, I promise you, one of these days we're going to be doing like more movie stuff like that, because I know you know somewhat of the parks, but I know you're mostly movies and stuff like that.
Well, it's not that I don't know the parks, because like I said, I've watched just about every Disney documentary I could get my hands on, and I just like theme park trivia just in general. But there's a lot of experience related stuff that I can't relate to, because I only went the one time, and we went with the whole family. And as selfish as this is, I kind of wish it had just been me and my mom, because they were not at they were at those annoying ages where they're not young enough to be awed by anything, but they're not old enough to appreciate the finer nuances of anything. And
12.
That was a mistake. My middle brother was like 12, and my youngest brother was like 6. But he's kind of one of those kind of bratty, edgy kids that doesn't like any little kid stuff. And don't get me wrong, I kind of relate to him, because I never really got kid stuff as a kid either. But like,
well, I'm a 50-year-old kid. I still feel the awe and the wonder sometimes. So I think that's one of the things that's made me really enjoy the parks even to this day, is I do get the awe and the wonder, depending. It's
love
just a lot of fun.
Like the history and the like technical aspect, and just the imagination and the ambition is just interesting. I do wish we had went like a year after we actually did, because that was when all the new stuff opened up, and like I was metaphorically kicking myself when that happened, because it was like, we missed like a whole bunch of new and interesting looking stuff, because we went at the stupidest time we possibly could have gone.
Yeah, but, I understand that.
Maybe someday I'll go again. I do think also that a Disney cruise would be fascinating.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. I would love to go on one of those with Gail. Well, anyway, once again, thanks a lot to you guys for watching, and it's fun. I love doing these live streams over here, because you know what? No drama. So
yeah, no,
go figure.
It's just a bunch of Disney files.
Disney, stuff. Yep. And yeah, guys, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.
Cheers all.